Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. I'm super excited because this year, 2024, has been a year of my intention is to transform. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just putting it out there. I'm trying new things. And one of the things I'm trying is actually recording these podcast episodes to go on YouTube. So if you're listening to the audio, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tips with Tony. If you're watching it on YouTube, hello, hi. So happy to have you here. And something else I decided, this just came to me, is one thing I want to be super intentional about for this year is I really want to make sure that nothing gets missed. So what do I mean by that? So I am going to be releasing really great interviews. This interview from this week, it was actually so worth listening to every second of it. However, I also understand that sometimes our time is limited, or sometimes we see the length of a recording and then we might not listen to it. So what I'm encouraging you guys to do is to maybe you listen to these mini moments. So I just came to me. I'm like, oh, I got to do these mini moments. Basically, mini moment episodes are going to be short episodes of just like little brief sections that I thought were super powerful from that previous episode that I think is worth reflecting on. So I call it a mini moment, a moment of reflection, but also an opportunity for you. So maybe if you didn't listen to the whole episode, you still can take something away from it, or maybe it encourages you to go listen to the whole thing. Whatever it is, I just want you to take a mini moment. It could also be you listen to the whole podcast and you just needed another moment to reflect again and again. So I'm going to share with you a small clip of two. I think in this scenario, I might share two mini moments because I just thought they were really worth kind of listening to and hearing over again, or maybe just hearing it for the first time. So enjoy. And thank you again for listening to the Tips with Tony podcast.
And when you align your spending with your values and you cut out the things that aren't as important, you have more money to spend.
Right.
On the things that are important to you, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel like you probably also do like a lot of mindset work with people.
Absolutely.
Right. Like, I feel like we could talk strategy, but I'm sure you probably come up with a lot of like, because as you were talking, I'm like, sometimes like when you're really in the thick of it and you want to be out of it so bad, like I feel like I did everything you're describing. Like I cut back like all of my spending as much as I could. But there was a point where actually just recently I was even considering like stopping, a gym membership in total, like not going. And that's like, so like nutrition and fitness and exercise is so important to me. And I just had like this like aha moment. I was like, I was like, okay, this will be my last month. And I had like the best workout ever. Like I'm such a high. Of course. I'm like, I can't, no, like this is important to me. So rather than me cutting out something that I love, I'm instead looking for ways to like, I can cut back in other areas and make room for this. But it's hard to do, right? Like,
it is.
You have those honest conversations with yourselves too. And there are times, trust me, like I'm sure, I don't know if you've ever like worked with somewhere you're kind of just like, I understand that you love it, but maybe this isn't for you, or maybe you need to find like a different way to, go to the gym or whatever, or a different membership or whatnot.
Yeah. Cause you're fine. I mean, it has to fit within what's real for your finances too. So, right. So if my value is flying first class to Europe and I don't have any money, then that doesn't really work either. Right. So exactly. It's bringing your income in line with that too. Right. Some people you need a different job or you need to be doing something different. And it is so much of it is mindset work. It's habit formation. It's all those kinds of things. I am also a licensed life coach or a certified life coach. And so I bring a lot of life coaching into it too. It's a lot of, let's look forward with your finances. So many people are also living just paycheck to paycheck, day to day, month to month, instead of that bigger picture. And so you know, a lot of what we do in coaching is just help people think bigger, right? Think bigger about your finances, think bigger about, you know, where you're going. And sometimes, you know, we get stuck in our habits. We get stuck in our job. We get stuck in these different things, and we're afraid to take those big moves. And sometimes it just requires a big move. Sometimes it requires selling a house. Sometimes it requires getting a new job. Sometimes it requires doing something that's big and scary. But if we don't do it, the alternative is that you just stay where you are.
Right. Or worse.
Or worse. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know exactly when I'm releasing this podcast, because you guys know I record ahead of time, but I might record some solo episodes before or after. But if not, this is the first time you guys are going to hear that I made this scary but smart, very smart financial decision to actually move back with my parents, which I never, literally ever in my entire 33 years of living. Well, actually, that's a lie. When I was 18, I left, I went to college, and then I never came back. I moved to Brooklyn. I moved to West. I've been all over the map. The last thing I would ever want to do is move back with my parents, not because they're not amazing. They are, but like, who wants to live with your parents at 33 when you've established your independence for like whatever, you know? But that was the radical change. I think I was trying so hard to cut back here, cut back there, cut back there. But just like realistically, no matter how much I cut back, I just wasn't able to get ahead. And I had to make that like big, scary decision to just, but I also just had to like face it. I had to be honest with myself of like where I was at and where I wanted to be and where I want to be. Right. And so I feel like I think working with a coach, you probably, I'm assuming like you just show people the reality, and it's hard it's a hard pill to swallow, you know, it's like, but you kind of have to face it. Right. I kind of, you know, I do relate a lot to like, you know, I don't really focus on weight too much with my clients, but I do also have a lot of people that come to me where like they don't want to even know how much they weigh. They don't want to even get on the scale. They don't want to face the fact. And it's like, it's not the weight per se that's unhealthy. It's the habits that they've been doing that have led to them to be at this size that they're unhappy with. But you still got to face it, because if you don't face it, it's only going to get worse. You're never going to get better. Right. So
absolutely.